am Michelle with 2 L's, and I am one half of Forcify Entertainment. Today I'm here to give you my review of the first 2 episodes of Disney's Daredevil Born Again. Yes, it is officially out. We're going to be discussing Daredevil here. First, I want to say, before we kind of move into that, first I want to say that I am a massive fan of the Netflix Daredevil show. I have watched the entirety, all 3 seasons, several times all the way through. For me personally, it is up there with The Dark Knight as far as a comic book telling on a big screen, small screen, for how much I love it. It just kind of like The Dark Knight. It felt more realistic. It felt very grounded and gritty. And it was a very believable world that they created in that Netflix show. So I had I can't say I had high hopes coming out with Disney. With Disney, I kind of have cautionary hopes for when they announced that they were bringing back Daredevil. Again, the bar is set very high. So I want to keep in mind as we move into this, I want to keep that in mind as we move into this review that I am a big fan of the original. And I'm going to quickly move into spoilers. I will give you warning as I move into spoilers for these first 2 episodes because it's hard not to discuss spoilers because some major things happen very quickly in these episodes. But my general thoughts for Daredevil Born Again, the first 2 episodes, again, that's all we have right now, is that this is definitely, when comparing to the MCU Disney Plus TV shows, this is already, I can tell within 2 episodes, it's going to be the best thing that they've ever had. It is keeping enough with the Netflix show that it's blowing out of the water the previous MCU shows. But I today here, as I'm about to give some critiques, there's some things I liked about it, but there's some really big things that I want to express that the more I thought about it, the more it aggravated me as I continue to dwell upon what we got with this. Okay, so comparing this to the MCU, it's great. It's far better than anything they have ever given us, in my personal opinion, even within just the first 2 episodes. I'm pretty much telling you that's going to be a safe bet to say, probably through the rest of the show. But I am going to be comparing this not with the MCU. That is a very low bar, in my personal opinion, as far as their Disney Plus shows. I am comparing Daredevil to Daredevil because that is a high bar. That, it was beloved. Critics loved it. In fact, I would like to point out that this is the lowest critic score that this version of Daredevil has ever had from critics. And I know we say, oh, well, it's critics, doesn't matter. But this is a case where they loved those first 3 seasons that we all loved. And on top of that, I would actually argue this new season has a lot more things that typically maybe they would tend to like and give credit for. So I find that score a little interesting. But yes, I'm going to be comparing it to itself, not the MCU. Okay, so right out of the gate in the first episode, actually, let me point this out. The 3rd season of the Netflix show was literally the Born Again, like their version of the Born Again comic. So I guess we now have Daredevil Born Again is what we have now entered into with the show. But let's enter into Disney's Daredevil Born Again. Okay, so going into the first episode, it starts with the bang, basically. We see the 3 characters that we have gone over 3 seasons with, and then also the Defenders season that Netflix did, that we have grown to love, and Matt Murdock, Foggy Nelson, and Karen Page. And we see them, they're doing well, they're enjoying one another. It's alluded to that Karen and Matt are now back in a relationship. Things are going well with the ones we love. And then, we've got Bullseye is back. And all of a sudden, it was one of these things, and we are entering spoiler territory. So if you do not want to be spoiled, major spoilers about to be announced. Basically, right out the gate, Bullseye shoots and kills Foggy Nelson. Bold move, guys. Bold move. It's a bold move Disney's been known to make a few times, really, to bring back characters we love and to give us a few seconds with them and then literally kill them off. But that's what they go for. And right at the gate, Foggy dies. And then we don't get any, we get Matt like cry, but like he doesn't even go to his body. We don't get a funeral. And again, this is not for some nothing character. This is for a character that we spent 3 seasons with and have grown to love. And quite frankly, it just feels cheap to bring him back, to kill him off within the first 15 minutes of the episode. That if you were going to kill him off, I would argue it should have been at the end of the season, and we should have gotten him all through the season. But no, that's not what they wanted to do. Disney had to get rid of the characters we are all here for and want to see so they can bring in new generic characters that, quite frankly, I don't have it in me to even want to care, to get to know, if I'm being realistic with you, because of how you just treated the ones that we love. Because then it just moves to a year later. Again, we don't get a funeral. We don't get anything for this character that we love. And all of a sudden we're told that Karen Page has moved to San Francisco. For some reason, she won't talk to Matt. Don't tell us why. They don't seem to care. And bye, Matt, I'm gone. Well, thank you for that. So quickly, we've removed the 2 characters that were vital, that were part of the heart of the show. 2 other characters well, obviously he's the main, but they were very much supporting characters in those 3 seasons, and they're just gone. And if you're gonna, it just is disrespectful to do that so quickly when you're coming back. Like, don't tease us with characters we love if this is the crap that you're going to do. Because I want, okay, you killed off Foggy. Can we at least have Karen? I mean, really? Like, we just got to get rid of everybody in this opening? And really, I tried to get past it, and it was just kind of the more I dwelled on it, it was like, no, like, I don't want to get past this. Like, at least give me Karen back. But I mean, even the Foggy thing, I'm not letting that go. It was the most, it's been since like Han Solo walking out on that bridge. Like it was obvious they were going to kill him off. And again, just disrespectful to the fan base that this isn't a new show. This is a show you decided, and I understand why you decided to go with this casting. It was a tremendous cast. And a show we all loved, and that's great. But then if you do that, expect some feelings like I have right now when you're going to kill them off the second the new show starts, simply so you can put in new generic characters. Not cool, quite frankly. I'm not going to get past that one. Very, very, again, if you were going to kill off one of these main characters, it should have been built up, and it should have been in the final episode of this season. Did you guys learn nothing, Disney, from how you tried to push out the original 3 of the Star Wars characters that we all loved, so you could add in your 3, insert your 3? We don't like that. Stop doing that so quickly. Let these new characters earn it. Don't just push out the ones we love. We don't like it. So there's that. So there's my feelings on that. But there's a lot in this first episode you're just supposed to just accept. You just accept the fact that, oh, Foggy's dead. You accept the fact that, oh, he has a new partner. He's no longer in Hell's Kitchen. Karen Page now lives in San Francisco. And oh, by the way, Wilson Fisk, who I don't know, has been to federal prison twice now. Once for trafficking drugs, being a kingpin. The other one for basically taking over the FBI and totally going and lots of murder here. Yeah, he's now the mayor of New York. How? Like, I feel like we're missing something. And that's what I'm going to say. This first episode feels like they just expect the audience to accept way too much without laying out any of the work and just telling us, oh, this happened. Well, how? And again, like, if he's going to be mayor, I believe that is in the comic at some point. That should have happened towards the end of the season. We should have worked our way up to him being elected as mayor, not within the first episode, he comes back and is elected the mayor. That just felt, everything about that felt entirely too rushed, quite frankly. And then we get to, we do get a conversation between Matt Murdock and Wilson Fisk. And at the end, that Wilson, the conversation, the Wilson Fisk we know begins to come out. But everything about this right now, it's still on some level these characters, but it's been Disney-fied on some level. They're more tame. Like, I don't really buy the two of them sitting there having a cup of coffee. Like, are you kidding me? He's put him in prison twice. Like, they both almost killed each other. Like, no. I didn't really buy that aspect either. I bought the very end of their conversation, not like everything leading up until that. So that's another thing. That's another critique I would give in this. And then let me get to something that the more I thought about, the more it bothered me because I was looking for it. Something that was so vital to the first 3 seasons of the show is the fact that Matthew Murdock, the devil of Hell's Kitchen, is a Catholic. Like, his faith is very much there from the very first episode when he's he wants to talk to the priest, but he doesn't really feel comfortable yet. And then eventually does. And eventually he reestablishes this beautiful friendship with this priest that he goes to as a peer, as for counsel, for wise counsel, he goes there. And because at the heartbeat, here's what I'm getting at. At the heart of this show, the version that Netflix did, something that made it so unique is you have, again, the devil of Hell's Kitchen, who's an attorney. You have this guy who is wrestling. He is always wrestling with justice and doing right versus doing what is evil. And even in that very first season, he goes and asks for forgiveness for what he's about to do. And the priest says it doesn't work that way. But there is this ongoing battle in Matt Murdock of not to kill, of not to go over the line, of to know the difference between good and evil, to be different than Wilson Fisk, to be different than those that are bad. And it really is, it's Christian themes. Love that or hate it. That's why that was there. That was very evident throughout the entirety. Even going, guys, to the famous rooftop scene in season 2 between Matt Murdock and Punisher. What are they debating? They're debating morality. Why? Because Punisher just wants to, you're bad, you're out. Where Matthew Murdock has value in life that's girded in that Christian principles that he comes from. And they have this very powerful conversation. And it's things like that made the show unique and that people liked. You go on to season 3 of the original Daredevil. And yes, he's having a crisis of faith, but where is he having it? He's having it as he's getting basically nurtured back to life in a Catholic church with a nun who is beginning to help him get kind of established back and get back as he's going through this crisis of faith. And man, when he begins to finally wake out of it and snap out of it in that season, it's powerful. But the bottom line is this morality issue, this morality of good versus evil, this inward struggle that he has, of this relationship he had with this priest and that he clearly has to this devotion to his faith, it very much was at the heart and center of the show. And is it in the new Disney version? At this point, no, it's not. It's just flat out not there. Basically, Matt Murdock, he could be any other character. He could be any other, maybe atheist. I don't know. Now, he went by church and people pointed that out like that's some big thing to me. Okay. That's great. But again, there's nothing there that was there from the very beginning of this inward struggle that this character has between doing what his faith teaches him and this cry that he has for almost vengeance at times, but then trying to tame it back to just actually get justice and again, to do what is right. And thus far, That is not there. And when that is not there, this is no longer the Daredevil show that we know and grew to love, and why you brought it back. So why do you keep bringing things back, Disney, if you're not going to be able to carry on the heart of what made that show great? Yes, the action sequences were amazing in that Daredevil series. And I love the action was incredible, which, by the way, don't need the CGI fighting, Disney. No, that's not what made those fight scenes great. Again, real, gritty, felt like something you would see in a fight in reality, not some CGI thing flipping around. I don't need that. Secondly, or this is probably thirdly or fourthly, actually, what kind of filter does Disney use? You guys have probably some of the most expensive cameras that there are. Why does it feel like everything Disney puts out has this like kind of it's just like a Disney, it's like this cheap lens. I don't know. It just makes things feel not real and kind of cheap, quite frankly. And it's there in the show. And basically, to kind of summarize this, guys, I did the final fight scene at the end of the second episode felt much more like, yep, that's it. That's what the kind of fighting we like and expect from this Daredevil show. But when you lose the morality, when you lose the heartbeat of the characters that were a family and that we grow and love, you just kind of are left with a kind of a skeleton version, a kind of a heartless version of what we love. And I this is no hate towards any of the actors. The actors are still great. They did their job well. I'm really addressing more writing issues, which is often the issue I have with any Disney show I seem to review. It's just missing the mark is all I'm going to say. And that's exactly what I'm going to say. And at some point, you know, yes, maybe they begin to bring back those faith elements. But again, I'm comparing this to the first 3 seasons we had at Netflix. And it wasn't like, oh, we're going to work our way into it. No, it undergirded the entire series. It was a major aspect of this character. And when you strip that away, you know, it's kind of lost what was special, quite frankly, to this. So I don't know. I definitely am. I say all that and I'm letting all my negative feelings out. Again, why? Because I love the first 3 seasons and they are like, to me, like comic book television perfection. So I am going to be a harsh critic on this. I am because I love it, because I'm a fan. And as fans, we're going to express when we are aggravated. And there's no way that when they wrote the opening to this first episode, they didn't know that it was going to tick some of us off. Of course it was. And I'm allowed to express that, which is what I'm doing. I will continue to watch that. I say all that to say, I will continue to watch it. I want to see where it goes. I'm not saying the show is uninteresting. Again, it's vastly more interesting. It's watchable, unlike the other MCU stuff. It's vastly more interesting than that stuff. But when compared to what it came from, do I think it's living up to that? No, I don't. I think it has been stripped of some of the critical elements that made that series as great as it was. So that's my thoughts on Disney's Daredevil Born Again. On the first 2 episodes, again, I will be watching. I will see if I want to keep reviewing it. I might just wait till it's finished and wrap up and give my final thoughts on it. I'll kind of see. I'll play that one by ear. But what did you guys think of this episode? I can already hear some of you are going to totally disagree. That's fine. Just be respectful in the comment section below. What did you guys think of Daredevil Born Again, the first 2 episodes? Share your thoughts below. And if you have not yet, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Also give this video a thumbs up. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, remember to be a force of light. All right. Bye, guys.